Give us a moment, yeah. Smooth jazz for Danny D'Angelo.
Sorry, I was parched.
You were parched.
I had to
Were
get
you parched in a pear tree?
I should have been. All right. Yeah. Let's 2 seconds. By the end of the week, guys, I'm shot. So by Thursday, I don't function well. Friday, it's even worse. You're lucky we don't do a show on Friday.
I was going to say, that's why we don't do a show on Fridays.
Thank goodness.
We don't do a show on Fridays because it would suck.
Yeah. You want to see what Uncle Danny sounds like when he snores on our bridge? Yeah.
No, sir, you know what? I should have done that. I should have frickin' live streamed while you were snoring. Dude, that would have been, hey, everybody, check this out. Hey, you know what, everybody? I'll tell you what. Take time right now to share.
Sharing's caring.
Show the love by sharing around.
Did you put it anywhere?
A couple places.
I hope I don't double share it.
Did you put it in the community yet?
Yeah, just at the.
Okay, I think that was the only place that I don't think it actually went through. I think I accidentally canceled it by accident there.
Okay.
So even if we did accidentally put it twice in the community, let's face it, the community are awesome. They're awesome people. They're awesome people at the Disney Community Facebook page. Probably one of the coolest, most drama-free groups ever, and that's cool. We like drama-free. After all the drama that you go through on a daily basis, the last thing I want
is more drama.
Just more drama. Save the drama for your mama.
Ooh, I haven't heard that one in years. Remember when MTV used to do the Yo Mama jokes? That was fun.
Don't. I was going to invite them. No, don't.
That was a good time. I enjoyed them. Oh, man. You know what else I enjoy? I enjoy booking my Disney trips through Fantastic Memories Travel, and it's Mouse Master Travel Group. The Mouse Master Travel Group focuses on those Disney destination vacations, and the Mouse Master agents love to take care of the stressful parts of your vacation planning so you can focus on the fun. You may say, where can I find them? You can find them at mousemastertravel.com. While you're there, don't forget to tell them Behind the Ears podcast sent you. Mickey Monthly brings you a surprise box of Disney goodies direct from the Disney parks each month. You know, they curate these perfect custom boxes for your family, and they have options including Disney trading pins, Main Street snacks, and, of course, Disney park merchandise. Packages start at a low $7. Cure your Disney withdrawal today by heading over to MickeyMonthly.com. Use our special promo code Radio35 to save 35% off your first box. Once again, that's Radio35, RADIO 35. Are you a fan of live streams inside Disney? Maybe you're a fan of Streaming the Magic. Well, for $5 a month, you can become a VIP member. This includes exclusive streams only for the VIP members and a special show with Behind the Ears podcast once a week, which is today, where we take and answer all types of questions, and we have a fun little show planned for all of you guys tonight.
It's going to be cool.
So, are you a VIP member yet? If not, head on over to Stream the Magic and become one. It's not too late. With that being said, Streaming the Magic proudly brings to you Behind the Ears podcast. Welcome back, everybody, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of Behind the Ears podcast. I am Uncle Danny. That is Mr. Chris. Sir, how are you?
Dude, I am so conflicted right now.
Why is that?
Because someone posted a picture up on the Disney community page about how Disneyland is going to offer corn dog nugget nachos. I am conflicted. I am so conflicted.
Casey's, though.
No, they may not. They may not. But the fact is, there was basically nachos, and instead of chips, it was corn dog nuggets and all the fixins. I don't know. I saw that right before the show, and I said to myself, I got to start off the show by just saying that. I am so conflicted. I don't know what to say other than I want to try it so bad. So I guess I'm just going to have to fly out to California, try it, and come home. And you know what's cool?
Someone could put it in the box with dry ice and send it to us.
For some reason, I don't think that'll work. So I'm going to have to try to recreate it this weekend. Is get myself some corn dog nuggets here. I realized it won't be Casey's corn dog nuggets, but I will fry them in the deep fat fryer because everything is better in a deep fat fryer.
Oh yeah,
and I'm going to have to see. I'm going to put some queso and some nacho cheese, and maybe some taco meat because I have some leftover taco meat from Taco Tuesday. Jalapenos. Yeah, I'm going to try that. I'm just, I realize it's like the worst thing to do for me right now. Too many carbs, but hey, I've got to do that. I am conflicted. So that's how I started out. How are you doing today? You sound tired.
Oh, yeah, I'm tired. But the show must go on. No one wants to hear about my sleepiness. So what do we have in store for everybody tonight?
Oh, you're asking me.
Oh, I'm asking you.
Oh, see, I thought we flipped the coin the other day, and Thursday night was going to be whatever Danny wants to talk about.
That's how he gets back from me putting him on the spot.
No, that's okay. I'm just kidding. We've talked about a lot of different things, and there were a few different things going on that I saw. That what's the best way to put it? There was a lot of different pieces of news, and I'm trying to actually flip through my Facebook saves that I've done over the past couple of days because there are actually some really cool things. Frontier Airlines supposedly offered 99% off flights to Florida in the wake of the hurricane, but supposedly tonight was the last. Tonight was supposedly the last day or last night of the sale. But, I mean, seriously, 99% off flights. boy, I wish I could afford to just take a flight down there for no apparent reason. But I mean, seriously, I mean, I'd be surprised if things didn't just like totally completely book up at that rate. You know, have you ever flown Frontier?
Yeah, I think it's a long time ago, though.
Yeah, it's been a long time for me too.
You know, a typical airline. I don't really have. I don't see. I think everybody's all on one level except for Spirit. I put them below everybody. But Spirit's the one I always use. So I don't really see much difference in different airlines. But I also basically only travel from one state to another. So
True.
I haven't broadened my horizons in a very long time. Alicia wants to know if we could talk about the issue at Art of Animation. We don't know what that issue was, though.
The thing is that I actually kind of flipping through it. I heard so many different things. Someone mentioned a chemical smell. Someone had mentioned there was a chemical smell over at Art of Animation. Someone said that someone was being arrested. That someone also got arrested for trying to go back in. Of course, you know what? Seriously, no one knows really what happened. I mean, everybody's like, "Oh, someone was starting a meth lab," you know, because it's supposedly that was reported. That has been reported in the past. That someone would actually do something like that. You know,
well, I've heard people were like, "Oh, they, you know, maybe with someone smoking, you know, like electronic cigarette in the room."
Yeah.
I don't think that would require the attention.
I mean, because those things don't have that much of a chemical smell to it. It's more, you know, it's either going to smell like water vapor or it's going to have a flavoring or a scent to it type of thing. A friend of mine here used to vape, and you know, actually, it made me hungry when it vape because he would like vape like apple pie. It's like, thanks a lot, man. I'm hungry now. Thanks to you.
It's a great alternative for people trying to quit smoking, but
true.
I've never come across a chemical smell from them. But granted, they're a newer thing. I don't know, maybe Florida or wherever they're from. Maybe they made like a homemade one or something. I'm not sure, but you know, it just I don't see the relevance in even using that. You know, it's odd that a day after the park opens and everything gets kind of back to normal, boom, you have a chemical smell coming from somewhere. Did someone like use too much bleach when they were cleaning the room?
And I've walked into rooms when they have done like the deep cleaning, and sometimes you get a little bit of a, you get a little bit of a good strong chemical odor. I mean, actually, not even just Disney, at other hotels too. To be honest with you, I mean, it happens. So, it's one of those things where they try to keep things clean, yada yada yada. So on and so forth.
They had to be doing a lot of deep cleaning after this past storm.
Well, that is something that's something that I think people have to take into consideration. I mean, there were a lot of people that were stuck in those rooms for several days at a time, and I'd like to think that people were trying to stay neat and tidy, but the fact is when you're putting so much strain on a room and you're stuck in the room, and you're dealing with plumbing and this, that, and the other, and so on and so forth. The fact of the matter is, I'm sure they're having to do a lot of cleaning. I'm sure that maybe there were people that end up. Let's face it, some people probably end up getting sick. You have 20-some thousand rooms. I guarantee you, some people probably got sick from eating too many hurricane snacks. I
was going a different way than that.
Where were you going?
Well, all the animals.
Well, that's true. Disney did allow, pets to be, be brought into the rooms. But I did hear that they were supposed to be kept in, containers while they're in the rooms or something like that. I don't know if that's true or not. I really honestly don't. We're not going to count that as factual. But, it is one of those things because there are a lot of locals that brought their pets with them, which I thought was it's a good idea. But then they got to deep clean all those rooms.
Yep.
I mean, I remember when Disney had smoking rooms, and And my daughter had a lot of allergies. Actually, still has a lot of allergies. And right before they actually went to all non-smoking, I take it back. When they went to non-smoking, I told them, I go, my daughter has allergies, really bad allergies to smoke. I need her to be in a room that's never been smoked in. And they're like, well, we can't really guarantee that, but we will do a deep cleaning on the room as a special request from you. I said, okay, fine. And we got there and we got to the room, and it was the cleanest, freshest room that I've ever been in at Disney, at least up to that point. I mean, the carpets were cleaned. I mean, it smelled wonderful. It was almost like it was a brand new room. Disney did a fantastic job at trying to, accommodate that request, because she really did have bad allergies. So,
yeah.
It's a little bit better now, but she's still very much allergic to cigarette smoke. So is my son, for that matter. But, Disney did a great job with that. But I'm assuming they're going to have to do that to, probably hundreds of rooms over the next week. They probably have to do that very quickly.
Well, I mean, it'll probably have to be done on a lot of areas already.
Well, by now they should be well underway. But, there's still a lot of things that they're having to take care of. And not to mention, there are still people in the area that are without power. That's still impacting those who work at Disney. This is something that we haven't really heard a lot, but I've been seeing on my Facebook feed, a lot of people that live in Florida, people saying, I'm still without power. I talked to two of my teammates today. One of them had power. The other one still didn't. He was talking about how he found a place that serves square donuts, and he's going to camp out there for the next couple of days if need be. Wow. I said, watch it. Those donuts will get you. And so, the thing is that it's really still impacting a lot of people, and I'm sure it's going to include cast members, especially those who are, right in those affected areas, and they're still scheduled to work. They're working, and they're having to deal with both their personal life and work life at the same time. I'm salary. I can, if I had a small disaster happen or something like that, I've got extra vacation days and things like that in place where my management would give me a little bit of leeway. But when you're an hourly, cast member or employee for wherever you're at, sometimes you don't have that luxury. So these people have, are still really balancing a lot of things. I think people need to understand that. I hope they do.
Yeah, let's just pray that they can get that power back on. But let's maybe move to a happier topic. And Disney After Hours at Magic Kingdom Park is returning. It will return to Magic Kingdom for January 19th, 26th, and 30th, along with February 8th, 15th, and March 1st and 8th. The Disney Disney After Hours event starts from 7 p.m. and lasts for 3 hours after park closes. It is a hard ticket event, which means you will need an extra ticket for it, and it is being sold currently for $119 plus tax a person.
Now, this came up today over at the Disney community page, and as well as other pages, and it does seem like there would be some advantages here, but we talked about this when it first came out. You've got to be a night owl in order to really enjoy this, and you've got to stop and say to yourself whether or not it's going to be worth that value. A lot of people said that they got multiple rides on some of the hardest to get attractions during that time, and they thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, but, we heard 10-minute wait on Seven Dwarfs Mine Train.
5-minute wait on Peter Pan.
They just had the DVC event yesterday, and I know it's something a little bit different, but in all honesty, it's very similar. They give you free bottled water. You get free Mickey premium ice cream bars. But we know people that were there that got on Flight of Passage that waited 6 minutes.
Yeah, and to make sure everybody understands, this is different than extra magic hours, which is included for those who are staying on site. This is not the same thing, and no, they are not replacing magic hours with this particular event as well. I hope that answers your question, Alicia. So I mean, that's just one of those. That's just one of those things. I mean, I don't know. I would do it. I'm sure, like, if I went with my daughter, she would do it. My wife and my son would not be, I'll say, candidates or, good, candidates for this, because they are not night owls. 10 and 11 o'clock at night comes around and they're done. My daughter and I will just grab some, kind of a caffeinated drink and some corn dog nuggets and keep going. So,
yeah, you're talking about when we were there. This is actually gets done before, say, the magic hours we had at Animal Kingdom, which was 1 a.m. This also got done before Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party or Halloween Party, whichever one. This is from 7 to 3 hours after close. Well, after close is 9 p.m. 9 and 10, 10 to 11, 11 and 12. So you're talking about the hard ticket event ends at midnight, essentially. I mean, yeah, I guess that would be considered a night owl, if you really go to bed early. But it's not like one of those where they didn't. Remember when they used to do, and I don't remember the last time they did it, where they did Disney was open for 24 hours.
Right.
I don't think they did that last year.
No, they haven't done it. They haven't done it. They didn't do it last year, and people are still asking about it. And, I don't know if they ever will do it again, to be honest with you.
There's something cool about the idea of walking through Disney at like 3, 4 in the morning.
Dude, it was busy at 3 or 4 in the morning.
Oh, sure.
I mean, it was hugely busy. It wasn't like, and there were people like sleeping in the streets and, so on and so forth. I mean, it was, I don't want to say far beyond magical, but it was still extraordinarily busy. In fact, they also did it at Disneyland. And the funny part is like at 2 o'clock in the morning, they had a line of people to get in.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, a line of people to get in. I mean, there were people that actually did the whole 24 hours at Disney. And I think, that would be really cool. I would love to do it. But man, I got to be honest. I mean, I've done lock-ins before, all-nighter lock-ins before. And I'm sure I can go ahead and, you feed me enough junk food, enough caffeine, I'm all over that.
Okay.
But I know that my parents, as parents, my wife and my son would never do it. My parents would never do that either. But that's a whole different story.
Yeah.
You have to be the right clientele for it. You got to be the right guest for that to really take advantage of it.
Let me see. Ashley was asking, I've never been to Halloween or Christmas parties. Are they fun? Chris, what's your take on that?
Here's my take. I really enjoy the Christmas party as well as Halloween party. I've done them both. Haven't done them in a while, mainly because it's not something that we would do every time that we're there during those seasons. And there's no other reason why other than, just what our plans are. I think they're great. I think they're a lot of fun. And basically the strategy is do a different park during the day. You can get in as early as 4 o'clock with your extra hard ticket event ticket, and in essence, really try to do the things that are unique to the event itself. See the different parade, see the different things that are going on, the different entertainment. That's really what you're paying for. Of course, you can still, enjoy different attractions that are still open with, probably lesser of a wait. But you want to take advantage of the fun stuff that are unique. Specifically for those parties. If you've never done it before, I say give it a try. That's always going to be my number one thing. If you've never been there, give it a try. If it's not for you, you don't have to do it again. But there are people that like it so much they make it an annual event.
Yeah, they're both hard ticket events, so keep that in mind. You are paying an additional fee to enter the park for those particular parties. Halloween, you may dress up, kids dress up, adults dress up. There's a lot of people watching, picture taking, and during Halloween is the only time you get to meet certain characters. The villains come out only this time of year. The Seven Dwarfs come out. You get to go trick-or-treating, which is an absolute blast, and you can bring home a lot of candy if you want to. On the Christmas side, you get to see, it's snow on Main Street. You get to see it snow on Main Street. You get free hot cocoa or hot apple cider or cold apple cider. They give out donuts. I mean, not donuts, cookies. Everything is just well decorated both ways, no matter how you look at it. Really, really cool. I think what sets it apart for me is I haven't been to the Christmas one in a while. I hope to make it down there this year for it. I like the Boo to You parade. I think that stands out.
Cool, especially
and Hallowishes.
Yeah, and especially for that, like beforehand, they do the Headless Horseman. Man, I don't know how they do that, but it is so cool. I really enjoy it. And of course the Halloween one, and you got a chance to just like totally go into a sugar coma with all the candy that you have the opportunity to get.
Oh yeah, I've seen some people make out like bandits.
Yeah.
Let me see. Let's go back here. Robin's done the Christmas party 3 times and absolutely loved it. Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party must. Christmas time at Disney is extremely packed. It's a great thing to enjoy, but it's super busy. But you could say, that notion of, it's super busy. It's not like we're I have to watch what I say. I would do this properly. There's no downtime at Disney anymore. You really just need to get lucky. That's, look at, if you want, go on touring plans. There are no, all right, you want to talk maybe middle school year, is there a lull during the week? Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. But at the end of the day, people are traveling there all the time, left and right. It's, I remember originally, and now I'm going back almost 5 years from now, when you used to be able to even go during a food and wine festival on a Wednesday, and it'd be just dead. Middle afternoon, dead. You would have everything. You can't do that anymore. It is packed no matter the time. I have literally seen professional people show up to Wine and Food. They must be locals and have APs. They'll go on their lunch break to the Wine and Food Festival if they're locals. Like, that's not something you used to see.
Well, the other thing is, though, is that it kind of really depends on your definition of busy or crowded. And I think in some cases, people feel that if it's not a walk-on, it's busy. And I sometimes think that is a very much misnomer for being at the parks. To me, if Soarin' is a 30-minute wait, it's not busy. If Space Mountain is a 30-minute wait, it's not busy. Because normally in the summertime, you're talking 60 plus minutes. In conjunction, you're talking about half the time to wait in the ride, wait for different rides. You're not going to see 15-minute waits anymore, just in general. And I think that's got to be a time conception that guests need to really understand. I will say this: I have gone in like October, and especially like for an extra long weekend, like a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And to be very honest, it works out great because, you can do in 4 or 5 days what you would normally take you 7 or 8 days in the summertime. And to me, that's a big difference. It may still be busy, but it's not, super duper crowded where you're waiting, 2 hours for a basic ride. Now, you're always going to have congested rides, like for Flight of Passage, the new stuff. Seven Dwarfs is always going to be a little bit higher. The Three Mountains are always going to be a little bit higher. Soarin' and Test Track are always going to be a little bit higher. But, as I said, it's about perspective. But you're right, Danny. I don't think there is a downtime anymore.
And you also need to always add in the fact of there's a lot closed in Disney right now. And it's to enhance the parks in the near future. But you're talking about when we'll go back to the heyday of MJM, that would draw a lot more people out of Magic Kingdom Epcot. So that started to shut down and become basically quote unquote a half-day park. You add Pandora, which you would think would suck people over there, and it did, but the problem is those two attractions are so long, people are still getting shoved back in, and it's becoming a bit of an issue. But listen, I guarantee you, opening week of Star Wars, Magic Kingdom will be dead.
You're probably right. No bet. I mean, I have a feeling that is exactly going to be the case. I mean, there was times where even during Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, Animal Kingdom was open late. And it was dead. Now, this was before they had Rivers of Light or this is several years ago. But it was dead. Why? Everybody was doing the hot thing for that moment in time. And when Galaxy's Edge opens up, when Toy Story Land opens up, there's going to be a paradigm shift of epic proportion over towards Hollywood Studios. We joke around about Hollywood Studios, about how it's not really a full-day park anymore. Yeah, it's going to be a 2 or 3 day park after that. I tell you that right now.
Yeah, it's going to be wild when that opens. But it's also going to benefit people like me who, I really want to be there. Not only for the business aspect of it, but I'm overall a Disney nut. I want to be able to tell my kids, I remember when Star Wars opened.
Back in my day, we had these ticket books, and we had to buy tickets. And then one day they came out these called passports. And for one price, we got this big ticket that was this long. It was held on by a Pluto button on my shirt. And we were able to get on any ride, any time, as many times as we want. Yeah, that was really kind of cool. But people still buy tickets then, too. Yeah.
Alex brings up a point. It's the fact of, being said local or being able to be there or getting invited to certain things and going to the previews, because that first year is going to be mobbed. And now, listen, if you're vacationing and you're a diehard Star Wars fan, more power to you. Go to it. That is for you. Trust me. There is, if I'm not down there in time, and I don't see how that's not going to happen, but I've already made it well known. I'm not the biggest fan of the Toy Story Land, the proposed ideas, and what's coming. Day one of that opening, I'll be there. Just because I love Disney and I love Toy Story, whether I like it or not. But, when Star Wars finally does open, that first day I'm probably going to try to brave the crowds and see what's going on. But after that next week, I'm going to be in paradise because
enjoy everything else.
Yeah, you're going to be able. It's not going to be a ghost town. I'm going to be like one of 10 people in Magic Kingdom. But you are going to. I guarantee you will see a significant difference. And I would love to get someone to film Hollywood Studios that day, and I'll film Magic Kingdom and have 4 people filming in each park and show you where the people are. When you go to Toy Story, it's going to be a herd of people.
And the funny part is, well, actually, with the software we use, we could actually do that. But the interesting part to it is that in some way, now granted, I want to be there for the opening of Toy Story Land as well as Galaxy's Edge, but in another way, I almost hope I miss it. Because if I miss it, that means I'm going to have to be there. I'm going to have to wait another year before I'm able to actually enjoy it. By then, it'll be, the crowds would have thinned out a little bit. I mean, granted, we're still seeing tons and tons and tons of people going over to Pandora, but it's still very, very popular. It's still very, very new. I mean, it just opened in June. It hasn't even been open, half a year yet.
I've seen a dramatic drop, though.
I've seen a dramatic drop as well, but for some people, granted, going from 6-hour wait down to 3-hour wait down to 2-hour wait, that is dramatic, but you're still waiting on essence, 90 minutes to 2 hours. Now, you and I have talked about this before. If you've never done it, a 90-minute wait is probably about the most I would actually wait for Flight of Passage. 2-hour wait. It's got to be one of those things where it's like last ditch effort, and I better get something to eat before I go.
Yeah, it better be your last day there, and you're definitely not coming back for another year. You want to experience these things. That's what we want to tell you guys. You might say, "Hey, listen, I wrote it, and I think it's worth a 3-hour wait." That is perfectly fine. You may believe that. We say 90 minutes because, okay, it is worth taking a chunk of the day out, but at the same time, it's not worth spending an entire day waiting for one ride. And that's where you need to decipher what we're coming across with.
Yeah, I mean, besides, you have to think about it. 90-minute wait is about the proper processing time for a big, gigantic coat from start to finish, and then you have to, get rid of it.
Yeah. Watch. I think, what is it called? Galaxy's Edge. I'm just going to call it Star Wars Land like I do MGM. You watch Star Wars Land might actually have the first implemented bathroom on a queue.
I think that would be fun. I mean, not fun. That was wrong term to use. I think it would be fun to see them do it. Is really what I wanted to say. I mean, they implemented the queue for Dumbo in a very unique manner for like a resting spot. Now, if they could do something similar to that for some things at Galaxy's Edge, I think they would really have a winner, if you ask me. But you know what? We'll see how it goes. I mean, Disney, I think, does a lot of things in a way where they learn from each attraction, but also at the same time, you have to think of something. Rest or waiting areas like that take up a lot of real estate.
And people are saying, well, if you don't go, it'll be all over the internet. Well, you got to remember, you have the choice to see what's on the internet. No one is forcing you to watch, what Toy Story looks like inside. Now, granted, 9 out of 10 of us are going to be like, curiosity got the bear, or whatever the saying is, and
curiosity killed the cat, maybe.
Whatever that one. That's a t-shirt. Curiosity got the bear.
Will our graphic artist that's listening right now please make a show note, and you are more than welcome to go ahead and put the billable hours in for that one.
You have control of what you want to say. And I'll say this about Toy Story, since we got on that tangent a little bit. First week, I think you'll see not similar wait times for Pandora. Please do not get that's crazy. No one is waiting 6 hours for Slinky the Dog roller coaster. If you are, me and you need to sit down and have a real talk about things.
I waited 6 hours to ride Slinky for a 60-second ride.
Yeah, they're not waiting 3.5 hours to ride essentially like a spinner attraction. But it'll be interesting to see where it goes. But I say a week, and I don't want to call it a ghost town, but Toy Story will die down. My personal opinion. It won't die down where like nobody's in it. It will die down where it'll be bearable to at least walk through it. Because anything on opening day, they'll have the specialty pins. They're gonna break out all the new characters they're gonna release. You're gonna have Buzz there. You're gonna be fighting Uncle Danny to just do everything because I'm gonna be running through like a madman.
No, I mean you make a very good point, because even when you and I were there, only like 3 weeks after Pandora's open. Not even. It was like 2 weeks after Pandora's opening. It was not deathly crowded, people-wise, in Pandora. It was very reasonable. We were able to go into the Salui Canteen and walk right up towards the, granted it was late, walk right up and order one of everything, and not wait really all that long. When my wife and I went in July, it was the same way. It was a little busier during the day, but it was July. July is a big time. I'm with Stan, because, he says, I tried very hard not to watch anything about Pandora, and it was hard because of all the videos of Walt Disney World that I watch on a regular basis. I'm right there with you, Stan. And at the same time, I mean, I really stayed away from trying to watch Rivers of Light. I stayed away from watching Rivers of Light. I stayed away from watching Flight of Passage. I think I caught a glimpse of the Na'vi River Journey before, but I tried to stay away from it, and that was by choice. I stayed away from the new Soarin' by choice, and I'm glad I did it. But you know what? I think it's okay that people do that. You know what some people do is they go ahead and enjoy those videos to see whether or not their family would even enjoy the ride in the first place. Whether or not
Tracy, Toy Story is slated to open the summer of 2018, so this upcoming summer.
Yeah, and I don't know what part of the summer. That's the thing. They haven't released any dates yet, so. And they said, if my luck will be like a week after I'm there.
Brian Eric, asked, Star Wars is opening first in Disneyland. How far do you think we'll have to wait for Disney World? Well, I mean, it was originally slated both of them were going to open simultaneously. And then I do know that somehow, some way, the state of California and people were actually working quicker than anticipated. That doesn't happen. They were actually ahead of schedule, and the Florida project actually fell behind schedule. So you're going to see a bit of a difference there. I don't think it'll be long because I don't want to say they're cookie cutter, but I think there's going to be a lot of similarities, and I think they want to really drive business in both parks. I would say, if anything, they're going to be open maybe a month apart from each other.
They don't want to drag guests from one to the other, so to speak. That'll throw off a lot of their analytics, if you ask me.
But see, at the same time, don't they want to do that? Don't they want to keep everybody on the East Coast like, oh my God, I can't wait for this to open. Let's take a quick weekend trip out to DL real quick and see what's going on over there.
That's a good question. But here's the thing. I think generally speaking, the answer would be yes, right? But the fact of the matter is that I think at least in the United States, you have a pretty solid following. If you're a Walt Disney World regular, you tend to favor Walt Disney World. If you are a Disneyland regular, you tend to favor Disneyland. And I think the predictability of that following kind of helps drive expectations for the Walt Disney Corporation in a sense of setting expectations for attendance numbers and revenue in a lot of different ways. And I think if they skewed that by accident, it would be hard to figure out how it would go. Now, that's just me. I'm not a business major. I'm an engineer. So, but I'm kind of thinking logically on that.
Eric is right, though. There is an expo that year, too.
Seriously, that the expo, I think, is going to see a big explosion. In fact, as much as I would love to go to the expo, after all, granted, I think during the other show, I said to myself, I don't know if I want to go to the expo. I kind of thought of it afterwards, especially after going to the Indie Disney meet. I was like, I think I'd love to go to the expo. But the problem of it is that I think the draw to Disneyland as a vacation destination for that purpose would cause the expo to even explode more in the sense of how busy it was. And I think the parks would actually gain a lot of that expo crowd. I don't know how that would work, man, from a logistics perspective.
Honestly, I plan on going. Granted, do I plan on going as a business or an individual? That's a story for another day, because that is not cheap. Disney, they stick strong with their price hold on certain things, and it is not cheap to represent Behind the Ears podcast like we did, simulcastly in Indiana at the Indie Disney meet. But I would love to do like a 5-day trip out there. You do the 3-day max. Oh, what did Alex? There's like a wizard package, but it's not called a wizard package. It's called like the PhilharMagic package. Something like that, but it's like $2,000 a person.
That gets you into
sorcerer package.
Sorcerer package,
and into everything.
It's basically super duper VIP, mega happy treatment. Throughout the entire expo. Yeah.
Alex was telling us that when she was there. They have. they have, what is it called? They had lines to just get in the store where you actually can take a ticket and come back, like almost like a fast pass for the store. There were people that literally were spending $100 to get in there for the day and waited all day online just to get in the parks and panel. So it's kind of like that $2,000. I know a lot of people are like, "Oh my God, that's a wild number." But if you're huge into this and you have that little bit of extra cash on the side,
a little bit,
that's a trip, I guess, right? That's what I spend on a trip myself.
Yeah, I mean if you think about it, $2,000 is. It's quite a bit,
Yeah.
It is, but still.
But all right, but then you can, to go back to the point, even if you just did regular missions, probably like 150, something like that, for the 3 days. But I would like to tag along, do the 3 days there, do, maybe 2 days in Disneyland, because I've never witnessed Cars Land. And when I was there, that wasn't a thing. So I'd like to go back and revisit it. And there's other cool things you can do out there on the West Coast. For people that are like, here's the problem for someone like you, Chris, where your vacations are Disney, and where I am right now, my vacations are Disney. That's tough to say, wow, I'm not going to Disney World that year because I want to go do this. But for the people who are locally to Disney World, like I plan to be, I now need a new vacation spot because Disney's your backyard. It's not a vacation anymore.
That's a very good point, and you're right. And the thing is, I'll go ahead and say this. First off, my 2 cents, you need at least 3 to 4 days at Disneyland to really enjoy it, in my opinion, especially with Cars Land and everything at DCA.
Because I'm here in 2 days max.
See, here's the thing: that gives you 1 day at Disneyland, 1 day at DCA, and the fact of the matter is that if you just want to go start to finish. But knowing you, and I would do the same thing, you want to enjoy it. You want to savor it because there's so much to do, even though a lot of it's duplicates. There are things that you would want to do that you probably wouldn't normally do, but because you can't do it at Walt Disney World, you're going to want to do it. Yeah, that's just my 2 cents. Let's see. Did I do 3 or 4 days of my Triple C? 1, 2, 3. I think I did. I think we did 3 days, and we had hoppers, and we did spend a full day at Disneyland, full day at California Adventure, and then we split a 3rd day, and that was nice. But we walked out of there saying could have used 1 more day, but we knew that it was going to be kind of a shorter time. But still, I really think 4 days, and you're going to really enjoy it. And also you get the chance to enjoy downtown Disney and to, do a few things. And even if you wanted to take a little side trip, although I don't know if I would want to take a side trip, at least not during your first trip out there.
And it's no disrespect to our Disneyland loyals out there. It's not saying like, oh, Uncle Danny said they only need 2 days there. No, it's not that at all. It's just, like Jessica said, it's hard for us to determine it because Disneyland doesn't take it. And she asked it as a question. I'm more posing it as a statement that Disneyland doesn't need the full week compared to a Disney World, just due to the lack of size. That's it. It's not saying you guys don't have great content and don't have original things. Listen, Walt was there. That would be a crazy feeling knowing walking down into, anywhere in Disney, well, most parts of Disneyland, and knowing that Walt was actually walking that same path you were. It's just, listen, at the end of the day, it's just smaller. We have 4 parks, 2 water parks, and a downtown.
Yeah, but I'll be honest with you, just because it's smaller, don't get fooled by that. The fact of the matter is that we still walked and a whole bunch of time. But here's part of the reason. We would get disoriented a little bit at Disneyland. And the reason is because you have it ingrained in your mind that something is supposed to be at a certain part of the park and it's not.
Oh,
and,
okay.
It's kind of like, where is this? And then you're like, oh, wait a second. Over at Magic Kingdom in Florida, it's here, but this is not here. And then all of a sudden you realize you're walking over to the other side of the park or something. It's just kind of a funny, happenstance type of thing. But But going back to the one thing about the expo, the fact is that if you wanted to do the expo plus 3 or 4 days at Disneyland, that would really be a good one. I think it really depends on how you do it and your budget. Like for me, I would have to be very careful about it because of my vacation budget. But that's just because we already have our 2018 trip planned, and most likely 2019 trip is already being started planning or planning process. So, yep.
All right, last thing before we wrap this up. So I went on the Disney website today. I was talking to Alex, and I was like, man, I want to go on a cruise. So I've been on 11 cruises. But I've never partaked on a Disney cruise. Mm-hmm. So she's never been on a Disney cruise. So I was like, oh, that'd be a great thing. Let's go on a Disney cruise. Yeah, why they're so expensive? Like astronomically, like for like a 5-night Bohemian cruise was like $2,100 a person.
Yeah, okay, that sounds about right.
What?
Okay,
I could go Norwegian for like $800.
Here's the thing, though. First off, I completely respect your sticker shock. Okay, I'll tell you that right now. I totally get it. I have found that with cruises, and you probably know this a little bit going on other cruises as well, the time of year that you go and the destination that you go are going to drastically impact your actual costs. Also, the further, or I should say, the closer that you actually book to your actual sailing time makes a big difference as well. My take, if you go like into winter, I would not. Don't try pricing an Alaskan cruise because you'll have to have a defibrillator. You'll have a heart attack. So, but we last time we went one time in February, and it was the cheapest cruise we did per person, but we had a total of 6 of us. It was my family of 4 plus my mom and mother-in-law. And it was a little bit cooler. Castaway Cay was a little bit cooler. The water was a little bit colder.
That's what I was going to ask you. Like, do you really get that warmth of being down there?
Well, taking into consideration, it was like 20 degrees in Chicago. It felt beautiful. On the deck, in the evening after the sun goes down and you're still traveling, you have to understand it can be calm, but when the boat is moving at 20 knots, you're getting a 20-knot wind, so everything feels a little bit cooler. I loved it. I had an absolutely fabulous time, even though it was in the winter and things were a little bit cooler. But you kind of have to, play around with dates. And this is when working with a great travel agent like those over at mousemastertravel.com can really help you figure out those particular, dates that would fit within your budget. And that's just one of those things. You're going to get the same rates whether or not you book direct with Disney or whether or not you book with a travel agent. The big difference is that sometimes travel agents will give you certain onboard credits that are there when you get to your cruise that you can use for pretty much purchases on the ship and so on and so forth.
I was shocked when I read that price. I was like, no, this is wrong. We're looking at the wrong thing. I was like, I put my phone down. I was like, no, this is got to be
you said how much? It was how much per person?
2,100.
Okay, so let's just call it 2,000 a piece.
And that was a standard room. I get a little claustrophobic, and when I'm on boats, I like to have fresh air. So I would need that ocean, that balcony, the veranda they call it. Yeah. That went up to $2,700, and that's for 268 square feet. I want you all to picture that. Okay, that's a lot of money.
I'll tell you right now, it's a small room, but those Disney rooms are supposedly larger than the industry average when you compare category to category.
Okay.
I'll be honest with you. Yes, we had 4 people in our stateroom, and I've been on the Disney Wonder as well as the Disney Dream. And granted, I've been on several cruises, one on Dream, all the rest were on the Wonder. And it can be a little tight, but you know what? I never felt like cramped. We just worked it out with our family. But yeah, think of that price at $2,000 per person price, and you got a family of 4. Think about that for a minute.
Yeah,
that's when the 0% financing through the Disney Visa card comes in great.
Stan says, if you are, spending time in your room on a cruise, you're doing it wrong. But you know what? And I get you, and I'm 99% back with you. But there's that 1% of me that says, but people say that about Disney too, and I still disagree. Because when you're taking the idea of the room in whole, there's other things that go along with it. And when you speak of Disney, like say you're speaking of Disney World, you're talking about transportation, you're talking about food options, you're talking about decor and everything. Now, granted, you don't have those options when it comes to a room. But you've been saying, I know you've been on these cruises before, so there's nothing like waking up in the morning on a cruise when you're either pulling up to port or you're out of sea, opening up that veranda, going out, having a cup of coffee, maybe going back in your room, taking a shower, and like getting dressed for the day, and just having that white, the white curtain like flowing in the wind, and you just have this big blue sky. There's just something better than a porthole or nothing at all.
I agree with you. I was going to use that same visual imagery that you use. One of my best times, I wasn't really a coffee drinker last time I did it, but my wife and I would sit out there with a soda and stuff like that, and it was just to see the sunrise over the ocean, and it was fabulous. And granted, even the last couple when we did portholes, even then that was fine. And, if you really feel like you need to be out, I usually just go up to the top deck, and it's just a whole lot of fun regardless, dude. Seriously, look into it. I know you're a little claustrophobic. I don't know if an inside stateroom would drive you up a wall. No, yeah, it would. Okay. So
I already know. And that's the thing is, listen, I'm a pain in the butt when it comes to it. It's going to cost more money. But I'm not going to complain when I'm there because I'm going to get I'm going to pay for what I want. And if it just means, hey, we can't go on a Disney cruise this year, that's fine. Well, I'll go on a different cruise this year, and I'll just keep putting the Disney cruise off until I can afford it and do it the right way. That's all.
I'll tell you what, I think every cruise that we've done, I have financed through my Disney Visa card. And it really does help take some of the sting off of it. Yeah. And you also get a onboard credit, a small onboard credit, using your Disney Visa card, and that can be combined in conjunction with any other onboard credits that your travel agent also provides you.
What's crazy part is though, you guys don't get. There's no casino on the Disney Cruises line, right?
There's no casino. There's no library like there are on some.
That's crazy.
Well, but the thing is, they do have a nice entertainment district that have all these different themed adult entertainment places. I don't want to call them all bars because they have a nightclub, they have a piano bar, and I know they changed a few things. They actually have a champagne bar, which was actually kind of cool. But yeah, there's just a lot of different things that you can do. There's a wonderful entertainment district, great shows. Seriously, Danny, I'll have to show you some pictures, but I absolutely loved it. Yeah, it's expensive as all get out, but yeah, it's just very much worth it. You can go on with $5 in your pocket, and you can walk out with the same $5 in your pocket and have a fabulous time.
You can technically do that on a cruise, though.
Yeah.
But again, you're still Mickey Mouse on the boat. All right, Chris, any parting words before we head over to our VIP show?
No, not necessarily. I just I really enjoyed tonight's conversation. Hope our viewers did too, our listeners do on the podcast. It's just it's been a great time doing this for everybody, and as the show continues, we are just super stoked to bring the absolute best that we could possibly bring to you guys. So thanks for joining us tonight.
With that being said, guys, don't forget to follow us on all our social media platforms. Facebook is Behind the Ears Podcast, Instagram Behind the Ears Podcast, and Twitter Behind the Ears PC. Any listener questions, comments, or concerns, please send them to our email address at behindtheearspodcast@gmail.com. go on YouTube, subscribe, and like as we vamp that site up and get ready to go. Don't forget when you're on Facebook to ask to join the Disney Community Facebook page. We have a lot of fun stuff. There is Trisha, one of our admins, reminding you right there. It's also one of the places you can find some of our T-shirts that are on sale. Currently, we have listed our Give Kids the World Marathon shirt resembling the Great Movie Ride decor on the front. Also, if you want to head on over to our Facebook page, we now, Behind the Ears Podcast, now has a shop site. We are currently sold out of those fantastic buttons, but don't fret. Within the next couple days, we will have the store will be back up and running with some more. So from me, that's it. I'm Uncle Danny. Hope you all have a safe and wonderful weekend. I'm going to be in Pennsylvania this weekend looking at Thomas the Tank Engine, so get ready for some cool pictures. I'm Uncle Danny, signing out.
All right, and I'm Mr. Chris. Thanks a lot, everybody, for joining us. Thank you for all your love and support. We really are glad that you're here, and we are here because of you. I'll tell you right now, don't forget to subscribe over at iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Google Play. That way you can get our show right when it comes out. And that way you are never without the latest and greatest episodes. So as we quit for the night, we just want to say thank you so much for joining us, and we hope you have a magical day. Take care.